Hey there, it's Bruce Ferris. It's the 19th of May, 2022. My dogs are yawning in the background. Let's do our market statistics. I try to do one of these once a week. And looking at 145th in the north end of Seattle, all the way down to South Othello, water to water. That's sound over to lake. And we're looking at basically residential properties coming on market and going off market via the MLS, which is the primary source of the Nile, as they say, for listings that we see. So we've got some interesting numbers taking place here. Let me see if I can move this out of the way. There we go. I don't think you see that, but I do. So we've got the highest amount of new listings coming on here, 294, 329, 298, right? And if we look at the beginning of the year, here is February, 195. So it's in the low 200s, right? And then we get a little spike right there, and then they're back down, and then starts moving up, and then kaboom, we're jumping from roughly down in the low 200s up until basically right up to around 300. And so there's your inventory shift, and that is April 15th, roughly, going forward, April 20th, 21st, going forward. So that's going to change things. That's going to change the dynamic out there. And then simultaneously, if we look over here at our total pending and pending inspection in a weekly time frame, let's go back down here when we were having some of our lower numbers right around the 200s. Here's 145, 150, and 158 in relationship to right around 200, right? So here's our ratio right there, 51%, 53%, 52% of those were 6-day off markets, and then 66 to 71%, 77% of actives versus pendings, if that makes sense. So we're seeing these numbers here. Here's one of the higher ones at 85, 77, and then boom, it starts dropping quite a bit. And we actually have some even lower numbers there at 57%, 53%. What that's telling me is that your ratio of newly pended, in other words, those properties going off market in relationship to how many are coming on market, is dropping down below 60% at this point. That is also a game changer, and it should be signaling, or it's not even signaling, it is indicating, it is documenting a change in the numbers. Now, if we look at the numbers themselves, that's an important aspect too. In other words, even though the actives are going up in volume, that's your inventory flow, our pendings going down in volume. So let's just track them here. 145, 52, 182, 168, 165, 178, 151. There's 200 right there. It's probably a result of this inventory flow. A lot of buyers went, hey, I can get a house this time around, because we were seeing a lot of buyers that weren't able to do that. And then it drops to 175, 169. Well, that 169 isn't a diminishing number in relationship to a lot of the other numbers throughout the year here. Let's also then take a look at this one right here, which is 6 days. And I want to see, where is it right here? 7 day. I want to see how many properties are going off market in 6 days or less of those pendings, right? So here's 193 pendings. 145 of those went off market in 6 days or less. That's pretty dramatic. And what does that indicate to me here? Right there. So let's go with this number right here. That 106 is really low in relationship to the 294 and the 169, right? So there's a high. Well, it really bops around, doesn't it? So, but you would think, no, I'm lying. I'm talking while I'm thinking here. If I'm going to be given, if there's a large herd of people that are being given a lot more inventory all of a sudden in a week's time, and that goes on for 2 or 3 weeks straight, right there, then perhaps the amount of people that are making a decision super fast is going to diminish somewhat. And there's our 106. So that could be what we're seeing there. It certainly didn't really pan out here, right? So in the end, our our pendings to actives, the pendings coming on market versus pendings going off market versus the actives coming on market is at roughly mid 55% right here. And that's a little low, but that's understandable given that we have a higher flow of inventory coming in. Our 6-day off market to our new actives is at 36%. And that's the lowest number since the beginning of the year, right? So that's what I'm seeing here. Hope that didn't take too long, but that's kind of how I have to look at it. And so the bottom line is, I think we have a bit more of a balanced market. Now, if I go back to Matrix here, which is the MLS, and look at my dashboard here, they've got a completely different view of it. But this is a little bit different way of how they're gathering statistics for this particular thing is a little bit different. But this is showing 277 new listings versus 178 pended in the last 7 days. If we had looked at this morning, I think here it is right here. Let me grab this page and bring it over. This is a screen clip from this morning. It was 206 versus 172. And that's normally when I do these things. So to compare apples to apples, I think you're looking at 206 to 172 in terms of new listings. But nonetheless, again, if we had gone back in time 3 or 4 weeks, this would be inverted, and our new listings would be down here and underneath 200, and our listing pendings would be just above 200. That's where you would be seeing that. So that's the Bruce report for this week. If you are a seller and you're getting ready to go to market, I would suggest that you put the steam on and get that done, because it is quite possible that the pendulum will be swinging. I don't like to appear incendiary, but it is always stunning to me how fast the market shifts from one direction to the other these days. Okay, that's it. Hope you're doing great. Let me know if I can be of any help. Take care.